It's the Kacee Allen Show.
Welcome to the Kacee Allen Show. As we all know, we're surrounded by a set of woke ideologies that have really infiltrated what our society is. We see a massive increase in many people in my generation who don't even know what gender they are. I believe the previous study that I saw, there was a 30% of my generation, Gen Z, that identifies as non-binary and is unable to identify what gender they are. And unfortunately, those set of ideologies that have been indoctrinated even at the public sector within our school systems has made its way through the culture as well. So Disney is the forefront of promoting this woke ideology. And as many of you know, the franchise Star Wars was purchased by Disney in 2012 by George Lucas, who was the previous owner. And it's since then been very heavily introduced to these woke ideology tactics that they've been really slowly progressing on these last couple years. And it wasn't until recently that it became extremely evident when the new series called The Acolyte in the Star Wars franchise openly endorsed the idea that the characters are gay and they need to be appealing to a gay audience, and really just making this about a sexual preference and sexualizing the show in general. This is what they've done to the culture, and this is what they've done to even the most prolific and great franchises in the world, such as Star Wars.
Hearing for a few weeks now that this is going to be the episode that absolutely destroys Star Wars once and for all, and I am here to tell you that it is worse than what we were even expecting.
Episode 3 is causing all kinds of backlash.
Episode 3 of The Acolyte was, without a doubt, one of the most devastatingly embarrassing spectacles I think I've ever witnessed on TV.
Third has hit. I watched it and it's...
Honestly, how can Disney, who actually bought the franchise, and Disney, who should know everything about Star Wars, even understand the fundamental idea of what Star Wars is?
And that's what we're going to be talking about today, the woke indoctrination of the Star Wars franchise. It has gotten so abysmal that the most recent show, The Acolyte, has a 15% rating. That is extremely low and quite embarrassing for a Star Wars show. I believe most of the unliked shows, I think the Han Solo movie had like a 50 or 60% rating out of the box office. But when you look at 15% and they're only like 3 episodes in, that is a terrible sign. And this is something that has really gotten national coverage. Usually something like Star Wars would not. But in this case, it does, because the wokeness that has plagued our country over the past 4 years has infiltrated everything to the max. But this scene from The Acolyte will give you a real perspective as to how really hardcore woke they are.
What's that? That's puzzle. Is he or they with us?
So they're very sly there by throwing in the they, them. They're not really expecting most of the fans to pay attention, but it's really thrown in there to give you the idea that, oh, this is normalized. Oh, the they, them thing, you can call people that. No, that is literally nothing in the history of anywhere that has ever happened until this woke ideology has infiltrated America. And now that they're accepting of this, it has gotten major backlash from not only just regular Americans, but the Star Wars community in general. These people are literally forced to make a political decision because the franchise that they've grown up loving has been propagandized by progressives, by hardcore progressives that want to make this about sexualizing the children. And it really hits hard for these Star Wars fans because they're like, what the hell, man? We do not want to see this. We don't care if you're gay, straight. This is all about the franchise that we've known since the 70s, since George Lucas originally made this series. It had nothing to do with any of these sexual preferences or any of these sexual suggestions. It was simply about a science fiction show where people are fighting a war and there's a rebellion that is anti-authoritarian, and it's very similar to what's going on today, but it's got nothing to do with the sexualizing of children, and that is what they're trying to normalize here. I mean, we've seen it not only just in Star Wars, throughout entire Hollywood, the newer movies that are coming out. There's lots of even kids shows we've seen on Nickelodeon and PBS that are also promoting these very secular ideologies, and nothing that is in a biological and ethical sense. And it's terrible to give kids this type of thinking. One, it's not true, and two, it's awful. I mean, think about this, right? You can be gay if you want to, I really don't care. But if we make everyone in tune with this way of thinking, we would not have any kids. We would literally have a bunch of crazy monkey circus-like individuals who cannot reproduce. So yeah, I really don't care. Do what you want to. I'm free speech. I really think that liberty and freedom is the most important thing in our country, and we're founded on those ideologies. But we're not going to be able to reproduce if everybody does this. So yeah, it's a very selfish and narcissistic act in my opinion, but if we indoctrinate this on everyone, it is going to be no societal structure, no ethics, and no sort of reproduction whatsoever. I mean, it's common sense. And the fact that we're trying to steer away from common sense is terrible. The fact that our younger generations, the generations before me, I believe they're Gen Alpha, they're growing up in this mess. I mean, fortunately, somebody like me who's Gen Z, born in 2000, I grew up before there was really a crazy, massive way to indoctrinate kids in the early 2000s. You know, the smartphone came out in 2006, so I had a lot of time to not be in this crazy society. So I saw both sides of things, and it's a big difference from what I grew up in. Unfortunately, Gen Alpha and the future generations and part of Gen Z, the lower half, they're not going to even see it this way. They've just been instilled in this crazy, woke, indoctrinated internet world. And when it's just part of society, it's normalized in culture, it's normalized to them. When they see it on their TV show, when they see their celebrity that they look up to promote these same ideals, they're going to follow. It's the nature of influence. So here's a clip from an interview with the Acolyte showrunner and the main actress, in which they say that Star Wars needs to be gay, and they laughingly joke about how nerds like gay stuff, which is really why Star Wars fans were pissed off. This is the video that went viral.
I want to ask you both, because this is, I would say, arguably the gayest Star Wars, I think, by a considerable margin. And are you excited about that? Are you
Not
bracing
the gayest
yourself?
Star Wars. Not the.
It's pretty gay, let's be honest. Leslie, how do you feel?
Am I gay?
Are you,
Yes.
Well, no, I know
Yeah.
you are gay, but I'm asking, are you excited about putting this, this is going to be a talking point?
Is it going to be a talking point?
I'm sure so.
Because nerds are gay.
Well, some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true. But
Yeah.
in my world, nerds are gay.
Okay. Was this the fun element of...
No, I don't think so. And yet people have told me that it's the gayest Star Wars, and I frankly...
You're offended?
Into it. No.
I think that Star Wars is so gay already.
Okay.
I mean, have you seen the fits? We'd be like, look how gay this is, and then send each other a reference photo.
And are you telling me, with a straight face, that C-3PO is straight?
They're a couple. That's what I think. But this is more outward.
I think it's canon that R2-D2 is a lesbian.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Ask Filoni. Okay.
Ask for
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
So that lit a fuse right there. That really pissed a lot of people off, and it made them not tune into the show. It made them completely cancel their Disney Plus subscriptions, and I was one of those people. I have watched Star Wars since I was a kid. There are a few shows I do like, and I do like the previous movies. I think George Lucas' mindset behind the series is one of the most creative things ever in human history. It's more about the wokeness than the Star Wars story itself. And that's what set fans off, and it just created this chaotic effect to where Star Wars is only publicized in a bad way on the internet. If you go to Twitter or Instagram, if you actually search Star Wars, 9 out of 10 things you're going to see is negative feedback from the previous show and the garbage that the Acolyte producers have written and thrown in the faces of lifetime Star Wars fans who want nothing to do with this. So this is what the story was all about. Here's a clip of George Lucas in a recent AMC interview explaining how the significance of the Star Wars franchise had nothing to do with the woke indoctrination of sexualization and gayness. It was all about the fighting the authoritarian structure and finding freedom in the empire that we're fighting. And just like in the American Empire and the American Revolution, we had to see and fight against the tyrannical forces that we were facing, just like the rebellion versus the empire in Star Wars. And it's really interesting hearing it from George Lucas himself, because he rarely does interviews like this, and it really does give fans the reassurance that he is not going along with this woke nonsense. Practices another company, they're also making it to where they don't want to hire white people. There's a video of James O'Keefe and the O'Keefe media recording a Disney executive admitting that they do not want to hire white people. Here's the clip.
Where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
how would they say it?
There's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Like straight to you, or okay?
They'd be very careful how they message that to agents.
So what Bob Iger has done to Disney is insane. He is the CEO. He is the one that took Star Wars from George Lucas and made it to where it is today, the 15% viewership rating. And it's just absolutely nuts that this is something they think they could get away with and they think would reach popularity. This is just another way of the Disney brainwashing tactics that they've been able to get away with for so many years. And now it's just not working. It's failing in real time. People are getting more attention calling this out than the show is itself. I mean, that tells you all you need to know. This is not normal with Star Wars. This is the last thing you would think for any science fiction or action franchise, but that is the case. And Bob Iger, like I said, is behind this, the CEO of Disney. He is the one that incorporates all this crazy nonsense. Bob Iger was one of the initial executives to say that they are not going to advertise on X because Elon Musk is so free speech and will let any ideas fly. They originally boycotted the platform, but here's Elon Musk's original response to CEO of Disney, Bob Iger, for not wanting to advertise on the platform and try to blackmail it against him.
The criticism, there was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself.
But
go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
Well,
in Star Wars' best case here, they have to make this less woke. They have to go back to the original canon, the original storyline, to where it's nothing to do with these very odd approaches that are nothing to do with the way that George Lucas would run the show. And it's so evident to fans. And the ratings and the statistics speak numbers. So Disney and Star Wars needs to get their act together quickly. I believe The Acolyte is 2 episodes away from ending their first season, and they probably have another movie or a show in the near future. It's actually been a while since Star Wars has released a movie. It's been probably 4 years now. There's talks that there is one in 2026. We'll have to see if that is woke as well. But yeah, I think Disney and Star Wars hopefully learn their lesson from this. I mean, this is going to be so brutal to the show and the franchise that they may have to change something. And obviously Disney is very powerful, so that they could probably withstand a few shitty shows, but they cannot keep on this trajectory or fans will leave. People like myself will unsubscribe from the network, and it's going to cost them. So, Bob Iger, if you have any common sense, get this together. Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, whoever's in charge, stick to the George Lucas script and just don't culturalize any of this nonsense. It's literally going to put you on the wrong side of history. And these are science fiction, entertainment type of people that are introducing and standing by these crazy practices that people like Joe Biden and our radical leftists and AOC, they've promoted since the very beginning. And it's garbage. It's ridiculous, and it's led to child abuse. And as we're starting to see, many people and actors are coming out that worked for Disney. They're saying that they were abused or they were sexually assaulted by Disney employees and Nickelodeon as well. So there's a lot going on there. We mentioned a little bit of it in the Diddy Files episode, but the whole Hollywood situation's a mess. We know that movies are going in the garbage. I mean, nobody watches movies anymore. Nobody goes to the movie theater. The whole culture there just, it's pretty much gone. I mean, you look at the top actors. I mean, who is the number one actor you even think of anymore? It's like you have to actually like, oh shit, well, who was good 10 years ago? You know, Jonah Hill, Wahlberg, you know, DiCaprio. But today, there's like nobody. Those guys are old. Those guys have been around forever. The whole industry in Hollywood is dying. It is dying miserably. Partly because of the culture they're inhabiting and what they're trying to sell their audience. It's certainly not working. But also, technology is getting so immense and so advanced that AI and individual creators, and even creators like myself, are taking viewership away from these monopolized corporations that have always had the power to bring in the viewership regardless that if they were telling the truth or not. So thank God to the internet. Thank God for Elon Musk. Thank God for Rumble and the explorations of technology that have allowed us to be autonomous and independent and own your own studio, own your own platform. That is exactly how we fight this crazy tyrannical nonsense of the woke left and the indoctrination of our children, because that's what they're coming after here. They're trying to persuade kids at a young age you can be whatever gender you want to. You don't have to follow any sort of ethical guidelines of the way life should be. So we'll have to see what happens with this. This is a pretty big hit for the Star Wars franchise and even Disney itself. And fans are going to really need something to motivate them to come back to the platform and really be encouraged to watch future shows, because right now the sentiment is very low, from my understanding. Just like I said, go on X and type in Star Wars and you'll pretty much see everything I've talked about so far. So hopefully everything gets straightened out there. But next episode, we're going to be live streaming the Joe Biden versus Donald Trump debate. That'll be on the 27th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll have the debate going on one half and I'll be reacting on the other side. And during commercial breaks, we will commune and talk about this. So join me on that one. That'll be the 27th. We'll be live on X, Rumble, Twitch, YouTube, all the regular platforms. And we'll see you then.